Well, I think we're at the start of something that is just beginning. And with so much communications taking place online, one of the things we have is analytics. We can measure just about anything. We can see what people are doing online, and we can adjust our information based on what people are searching for, where they're looking, what part of the page they want. I think that really the future of communications is going to be neuroscience. It's going to be really understanding how the brain takes in information and uses that information, processes that information. And I know there are programs that are starting to move in that area. And to me, that is so exciting. I have always been fascinated just by the basics of why do these black little letters make sense to somebody? And we're really starting to move into that area in communications.
One area I think is quite exciting is sort of this, there's a movement towards open data and data journalism. And you see this in the communication side and also on the journalism side. For journalists, the city of Edmonton, for example, really collects information on all kinds of things: sewers, roads, condition of infrastructure generally, crime, you name it. They get reams and reams of data every single year. Journalists and even communication professionals are increasingly being asked to look at that data and to make sense of it and then present it to people in a way that makes sense. So there's a lot of actually work in journalism right now in where there's an overlap with computer science, where people are manipulating these big data sets to look for patterns, look for trends, and then display it to people, whether it's through a map or a graph or a database. And so that's just one area where the traditional, that people don't necessarily think of when they think of communications, but there's this overlap now of communications with all these other fields that are fairly new. So I mean, whether it's neuroscience or computer science, communications is sort of becoming larger as a field. In classes I've taught, we talked about journalists as curators of information. There's this massive information out there from all these different sources, and the journalist's job increasingly is to spend the time. Not everyone has time to go through Twitter, the massive stream of tweets to find out the most important ones. So a journalist is now being asked to make sense of this data, distill it into something interesting, and put it back out there again. It's an emerging skill, a new skill.
Mm-hmm.